Exactly. Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show, a little behind-the-scenes video if you're watching on this live computer or video streaming page. We've got a great show planned for you tonight, in hour two, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to be talking to Tobii. That's not the name of a person, that's the name of the company. Carl
1 minute
Korobkin,
until showtime.
who is the Vice President of OEM Solutions, is going to be with us talking about Tobii IX, their latest product that lets you use your eyes, your natural eye movements, to control your computer. Why would you want to do that? Well, lots of reasons, and we're going to get into that in the show as we get started. So we'll be starting in about 30 seconds. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and we'll start momentarily. Fifteen seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Monday. Wow. Weekend went by really fast. I don't know.
Not only Monday, but Thanksgiving Monday.
Yes, it is that time of the year.
The holiday snuck up on us.
Yes, it is. It's that infamous Turkey Day, they call it, right? Exactly. Yeah.
I believe some people do.
Yeah, I mean, you get that big juicy bird on the table, and there you go. Yes.
Apparently, and in your studio.
But looking forward to that. Where family gets together around the big turkey, and and just. It is a wonderful holiday, and so hopefully all of you have holiday plans. Just to let you know, here at Computer America, it's going to be a short week for us. That's right. Short week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we will have shows, live shows, but on Thursday and Friday we're going to have best of programs, and we're going to have, I think, Elio Motors is one of the two best of shows we did back in August. We had Elio Motors on the program. We're going to rebroadcast that. And then back in June, we had Doodle on for the very first time, and we're going to rebroadcast that show as well. So that's and
two good shows.
Yeah, they're both good shows. And if you got our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, you should be well informed about this. You should know all about it because it talks about who's going to be on the show for the entire week. And then when we come back, it'll be the 1st of December. It'll be December. Wow. Okay, so the last month of the year. And that's going to be a short month for us. I think the last 2 weeks we take off of December, traditionally here at Computer America. But anyhow, did you do anything interesting over the weekend, Ben?
Interesting. No, I did not.
No.
I have one mistress, and her name is WoW. It's
WoW. Oh, you played WoW. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did interesting things. It's just interesting to the common folk. No, probably not. No.
You didn't even. Did you take the dogs to the dog park at least?
I forgot I had dogs for 2 days.
Okay.
I found them. They were just lying there.
Yeah, I'm sad that their ribs were showing. My goodness.
I know.
I know. You have to pay attention to your dogs. Really
next time.
Okay. Well, I think that said, let's.
Whoa. What about you then, huh?
What did I do?
Yeah, ye who has all the faith in the world. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, I didn't go see any movies because there was nothing on that I really wanted to go to a movie theater to see. However, I did on cable. I caught a couple of movies that I had wanted to see, but nothing.
I think you just told us that not only did you not do anything, you opted out of doing something interesting.
Well, no. I took your mom to a restaurant. We went to a nice little restaurant. Sort of like a post birthday celebration because we really couldn't go out on her birthday, so we went someplace nice for a birthday.
It's kind of like the Hobbit birthday. You got first birthday, second birthday, mid morning birthday.
Exactly. It's sort of like the
birthday. Yeah. Okay.
That's why they're so that's why they're hundreds of years old because they have multiple birthdays in the same year.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it could be. Well, I'll tell you what. If you have a comment or a question or suggestion for us, our guest, you can reach us at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on, get you through. Email is live, live, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. There's a button right in the middle there that says chat and live video. You can click that. Just follow the instructions. And also, you can watch the show. You can only listen to Computer America, but you can actually watch the show. On that same page, we have a live Computer America video streaming page. So all the different ways you can join us, and we certainly hope that you do. So let's get to it. All right, let's get to it. Now, again, I'm kind of excited about this. I know you being a gamer, I'm sure you'll find this interesting, but our guest for this first hour is from a company called Tobii, Tobii. And they work with developers and manufacturers to create mind-blowing user experiences with computers, games, and other devices. And with their latest product called Tobii IX, that's E-Y-E and then a capital letter X, all one word, they have created an intuitive interface that uses your natural eye movements. Now, is that slick? Using your eyes to control your computer. And Tobii also helps people with disabilities to communicate and gain more independence. To some, eye control is truly the only way to access computers and have a voice. Now, joining us tonight is Tobii's Vice President of OEM Solutions, Carl Koropkin. Carl, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Craig, great to be here this evening.
And likewise, glad to have you here. So I kind of gave a little introduction here, but why don't you, in your own words, why don't you tell our listeners exactly what does Tobii do?
Sure. So Tobii was founded in 2001, and we are the global leader in eye tracking technologies, and we are pioneering bringing eye tracking to mainstream computer devices. So everything from your tablets to laptops to even your automobiles. So getting really amazing sci-fi eye tracking technologies out there for everybody to interact with. Today we have two main markets that you mentioned. We build devices for people with special needs, so Tobii assistive computers, people with disabilities, and it's pretty amazing stuff. So it allows people who unfortunately wouldn't have the means to interact with computers to be able to do that directly with their eyes. So it's really remarkable technology. And we've been bringing that to market for over a decade. So that's been there, and very proud of what we do there. We also sell eye trackers to researchers. So these are people like everybody from Google to Procter & Gamble and so forth, who want to understand in terms of product design, everything from web pages to packaging, what people are looking at so they can build better experiences and better products. And we've been doing that for quite a while as well. So very, very cool technology, very cool solutions, applications, and now we're taking that with our OEM division and as I said, bringing that into devices for everybody to use.
Okay, so so you're using your eyes to control your computer, right? And
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not talking about using your eyes to press the keys on a keyboard. It's obviously something else.
That would hurt.
That would hurt. And it probably really would. So it's some sort of eye tracking. So why don't you tell us how does this eye tracking work? I mean, what are you using to accomplish this?
Sure. So we have proprietary sensors, eye tracking sensors that we put into the device. And they basically are facing you, the user, and they lock on your eyes. And so we can find basically very accurately what direction you're looking at and how far away from the screen you are. And with that, we can essentially, now the computer really understands what you're interacting with on the screen. So the core technology basically is a sensor, and we can detect reflections on your eye. And then once we lock onto that, then we sort of feed that to the computer. So you can imagine now that, for instance, you wouldn't need a mouse because the computer knows what you're pointing at with your eyes instead of having to use a mouse.
It sounds like this is actually something very different than what we're seeing, like, for example, Microsoft's Kinect or some of these other things that that uses your body motion to, translate into whatever it is. Or is this something along the same lines but more sophisticated, or is it completely different than what Kinect would have, or devices like Kinect?
That's a great question, Craig. It's actually it's in the same family of types of sensors and devices. So the Kinect is essentially a motion tracking device, and people who have been familiar with that have enjoyed that since it came out with the Xbox.
Sure.
Has this modality where it's basically tracking features, you as the person. So if you put your hands up and you wave, it can track the ends of your fingers, and now you can imagine, interacting with all types of media, and people are familiar with that.
Uh-huh.
Our technology is different but similar in terms of how it works, and so it's actually very complementary to something like the Kinect. And in fact, if you think about it, what's happening in the world here is that all these new technologies are coming, online, into the mainstream for how people interact with their devices. So Kinect is sort of one thing that people have become aware with, and there's a company called Leap that came out with the Leap motion device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's very related into how that works, and it works very harmoniously with those technologies.
And although I think the Kinect is Leap is just basically monitoring your hands. It's a little device you put over in front of the keyboard. Where it looks like the Kinect is more of an entire body, and I think voice recognition. I mean, it takes several technologies and kind of combines them so you can do multiple things. But I don't think it's necessarily as precise as what you're talking about, because the eye movement is a lot more subtle and intricate. I mean, you can move your eyes from left to right or up to down, but it's basically it's nowhere the kind of mobility you have, let's say, by waving your arm, which the Kinect. So I would assume that the sensitivity of your eye tracking technology has to be a lot more refined.
Yeah, that's a correct statement. I mean, basically, your eyes are the fastest moving part in your body, and they're moving very, very rapidly. Mm. And so the technology works at a very high level of detail to be able to track your eyes. What's actually interesting about all of this is that if you think about it, you mentioned gesture and voice, and these are different ways that people are trying to get people to interact with their devices. But if you think about it, what's extremely important about the whole notion of eye tracking is that it's absolutely foundational to all of these things. And the reason I say that is, if you think about it, is that when you interact with a device, what's the first thing you're doing? You're looking at it. You're looking at the device, you're looking at the screen, you're looking at objects. Sure. And so that's the natural thing that you do today. We all do this. So the interesting thing about eye tracking is that we are bringing a technology that now connects you with your device in a way that's completely natural and intuitive, and something you already do today. And what we believe is that eye tracking is going to be the core of all these new modalities, because it starts with, one, what you look at, the device understanding what you're looking at, and then two, what do you want to do about it? So maybe you look at something and you want to talk to it, or maybe you look at something and you want to gesture to it. But it really starts with what you're looking at, and that's why eye tracking is so profound and so powerful, because it does establish this next level of connection with the device that really gets us into a whole new realm that's amazingly cool and exciting.
Now, you have multiple websites here, and we've put most of them up. If you go to our show notes page at computeramerica.com, and you just click on the show notes page, you'll see today's show, which is November the 24th, and you'll see Tobii and the description, everything we're talking about, and there's a link there. so you can see some of the different things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, the device itself, I'm looking at the Sentry eye tracking system. This is the Steel Series. This is one of the links that you have. This incorporates your eye tracking technology into this. Is this going to be a consumer? Is it a gaming device that you're going to have?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, so we announced at E3 this past year our partnership with Steel Series, and we're bringing to market the first ever consumer eye tracking device, and we're bringing it to market as a gaming peripheral.
Right.
And it's the first time ever, and it's going to be just radically super amazing.
Yeah, when I first looked at it, it looks a little bit like a sound bar. You know, you get from Yamaha, one of those companies that projects sound. But this is obviously an eye tracking. And I'm going to sort of ask Ben here, because you're our consummate gamer here. I mean, how would you see yourself, no pun intended, using this? I mean, if you're playing World of Warcraft, would you, or some of the similar game, would you find something like that? I mean, it would probably obviously change the way you're playing the game, because you could look on the screen and sort of interact with things, but you'd also have the keyboard too. So. I'm just trying to think how you would.
I mean, if you were marketing this as a gaming peripheral, it would be. I don't think this would be kind of the competitive scene that I'm used to. Is it would probably be more for adventure games. Think your Tomb Raider, your Far Cry, your Skyrim, like your single player RPG, games that you like to have fun, and it would just add a different experience, because right now, what you have, on your screen is, especially if you take, the Xbox or the computer, whichever way your character's facing, that's all you can see. But if you were to add eye tracking in there, you could probably develop a game around that feature, to where, if you're looking, if you start like looking over to the left side of your screen, the camera would shift and it would go that way, or you look to the right side, and you look around, kind of it could track your eyes, see what you're focusing on, and then you could have an RPG adventure where the likes of which you never really had, because it's not a controller, it's not a keyboard. You're actually the game is actually influenced by what your eyes are doing and what you're perceiving in the game, and that would be a completely different type of game. It wouldn't really work to augment existing games, especially like I said, the ones I'm used to, which is competitive. But if you built a game around it, I think it'd be brand new.
Carl?
Yeah, no, I think, Ben, I think you're spot on. You kind of jumped to a little bit further out of how I was going to describe it, but let's go there. I mean, if you think about what's happening in terms of, the next-gen gaming and experiences, I mean, look at the Oculus Rift, which has created a huge amount of buzz,
sure,
obviously, with especially being acquired by Facebook. But it's all about immersion. And how do we take ourselves into the next level of virtual reality and augmented reality? And it's just that. So if I'm having a conversation with you and I'm looking at the ceiling or I'm looking at the wall or something and I'm not looking at you, that would be awkward, because I'm supposed to be looking at you. And the thing about it, and it seems subtle, but it's completely absolutely required and natural, is that eye contact is the level of immersion that you and I and everybody expects socially. And you go ahead and put an HMD on, and if you don't, and you now have the ability to know exactly where someone's looking and looking at them, then you're there. You've now arrived at the next level of immersion. And computers don't do that today. They don't know where you're looking. They don't know how to look back at you, and that's a huge deal. So I'd say if you want to jump, fast forward to kind of where things are going to be in the not too distant future, think about that level of immersion. Or even augmented reality. Think about devices where, even wearables, where you're going to be in a world of augmented reality with things placed in your environment. You are looking out the window. You don't have a mouse, you don't have a keyboard anymore. You literally are looking at things and you want to interact with them. You're going to look at things, they're going to give information. You're going to look at things, you're going to talk to them, and so forth. So that's kind of where this is headed in the future. So if we fast forward, we're going to say, wow, how do we get along without eye tracking? Because that's the technology that really made that connection. If you want to come back to 2014, 2015, what we're doing today with Steel Series is pretty remarkable. The device is actually launching as a game analyzer. So if you actually look at that web page and look at the software, and what it does is it shows in real time the stats for the gamer. So it shows you how long did you look at the minimap, fixations per minute, you know, did you not look at your health meter? It sets off an alarm. What's really important in these, you know, major league gaming events and these esports events is everybody's looking at a screen. What's the gamer doing? What's the gamer looking at? We're going to be streaming that live, you know, and so there's a visual on the screen that shows exactly where the gamers are looking, how long they spent looking at it. So it's a training tool, it's an immersion tool, and it brings a realm of capability that was never possible before in the very high echelon, you know, pro gaming arena. And then as you go forward from there, as we start to use it as an interaction tool, new games are going to be developed. We have a title that's actually now launched, is on Steam, called Son of Nor, where now you have telepathic powers. So you're running around the desert and the enemies are coming at you and you need to pick up the boulder. But now, like, you can, through telepathy, can pick up the boulder and you stare at it and you lift it and you throw it in the direction that you're looking. You now have these magic powers you didn't have before. So what's going to happen is, you'll see this very rapidly, it's already happening today, those titles are coming out, is that gamers, game developers are going to use their creative powers. They're going to say, wow, I never had this capability before, and people are going to create experiences that are just absolutely super cool.
The whole aspect of using it to coach people, I mean, I'd never thought of the whole coaching aspect of it, because you see all this technology that goes into, I mean, if you've ever seen pro athletes train, you know, in a training camp or something like that, they have them hooked up to wires, they have them run on a treadmill inside a lab, and they test everything, and I mean, it goes way beyond what you think, you know, they would normally do. But I guess for pro gamers, I mean, I knew that they monitor that kind of stuff, but I mean, I guess the way your, you know, where your eye focuses on, that would be huge, you know, because I'm thinking, you know, StarCraft and League of Legends and World of Warcraft, things like that. I mean, it's you kind of just had to say, dude, you got to do this. You're not doing this enough. You have to try. But once you start getting some numbers in there, and you can say, you know, you only spend, you know, you only looked at your health meter 62% of the time. You only did this, this, and this. You know, that would be huge for pro gaming, which is completely, you know, blowing up right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's mentioned that people have not had before, and the reaction to it to date has just been absolutely phenomenal. If you go on to Wagamama, who's one of the streamers, has done a piece on his early interactions with the technology, and thinks it's absolutely fabulous. So we'll see, you know, and that's kind of what we're doing with Steel Series. We're very, very excited about that. And, you know, as we move forward, we'll see progressively people using the technology in the game space for just very, very cool things, and things that we can't even imagine yet.
Yeah, I would think, and again, just listening to this and hearing what Ben's saying and everything, and that this is getting the closest we could get before you go into mind reading. I mean, being able to look at the rock and just toss it without saying or moving your hands or doing it, just by looking at the screen. I mean, that's about almost as close as you can get to, you know, thinking about what you want the computer to do.
Well, I won't call it a mind reader.
No.
people start to think, well, okay, well, maybe that's a little creepy. But I mean, actually, you know, let me actually put it in this way, and I'll get a little bit techie about this. But look at the mouse, right? The mouse was invented how many decades ago?
Yeah.
It's been out in the market for about 40 years.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable device.
It is
remarkably simple. It's a remarkable device. I mean, all of us can't live without it unless we're on our touchpads or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the point is this, like, what does that mouse do? It's a physical device for you to tell the computer where you're looking.
Right.
That's what it does at its core. So now, if the computer, through eye tracking, already knows where you're looking, it anticipates. So it is this thing. So the first time people get in front of it, it's sort of, there is this like, oh, how did it know that? So there's this anticipatory thing, because the way you work is the way your brain works, is that once you're looking at it, you've cognitively already registered in your mind. You're already thinking about it. You're ready to act on it, or you have already acted on it cognitively. And so it creates this relationship now. And the thing that you notice, like even on a desktop environment, is that once you have this, and you could run your entire finger with just one, run your entire computer with one finger on a touchpad. You just look and you just touch, and it's so fluid and so natural, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and when you think about it, because I mean, it actually brings it to the foreground of consciousness. Is that you're right? Wherever I'm looking, that's where I move the mouse pointer to. The mouse cursor is where I'm looking. I don't necessarily, let's say, look at the upper right-hand portion of my screen, and then with my mouse go to a bottom window and click on it. No, I don't really do that. 95% of the time, where I'm looking is where the mouse pointer is. That's what I'm doing. Then once it's there,
you've used computers for how long, and you're just coming to this realization?
But that's what it is. But the point is, then at that point, you either use a left click or a right click, or the myriad of buttons that we'll find on a mouse these days. And but basically, for the most part, where you're looking is where the mouse cursor is. And so if you can do that just with an eye gesture, eye motion, and leave your hands free to do other things, I would think that would be an amazing accommodation to do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't, and just to be clear, we don't replace the mouse.
Yeah.
It's interesting, we're at CES every year, and we're at CES again this year, and want to make sure that people are listening, do make sure to buy and see us. Yeah. People will come up and they say, okay, so can I blink and make something happen? It actually turns out that you can program the device to do that. But you really wouldn't want to do that, because how many times you want to blink, you wouldn't be able to get through anything.
That's right.
Right? I mean, five blinks and I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But the point is that the technology is capable of that, but that's not a natural use case for it. The thing is that eye tracking is in the background. So at a minimum, it's in the background, and it knows what you're looking at. And then if you combine that with touch, whether you combine it with voice, whether you combine it with gesture, or maybe it is just eye tracking itself. So for instance, you have an icon on the screen. Let's say it's your stock ticker, like a little gadget, right? Mm-hmm. And that little gadget is supposed to give you a little nugget of information. But let's say you're busy doing your email and some other things, but you just want to glance up at it and say, okay, how much is this trading at? Today, you actually have to look up at it and then go move the mouse, get out of context from your workflow, go move the mouse and click on the thing or roll over on it, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas today, with eye tracking now, you just look at it and it says, oh, you're looking at me, here's your little nugget of information, and then it goes away.
Yeah, I can see, the other thing, though, you mentioned something that just triggered an idea. Well, I understand the blinking, because that would drive you crazy. You move the mouse because you're blinking, and and you blink, you don't really mean to. It's really a reflex, so you don't want to do that. You might select a window or something that you really don't want to select, like clicking a mouse. But what about, let's say I move the mouse over to where I want, and let's say I wink my left eye for a left click, or I wink my right eye for a right click, when that would be something that would be
and then you're navigating like crazy, and you look like you have a seizure.
Well, it's all possible, and that's up to the imagination of the developer. And I mean, what we sell as a platform, there's a software development kit, and people go on our website and get the kit and start programming away. And maybe we'll see some of this and some of that, and who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that blinking, you would never want to blink or wink.
Yeah.
And I could see cases where that could be kind of cool. I mean, we actually, in some of our other market segments, you do see behavior activities like that. So, for instance, like in a medical environment with a medical device, it's often in situations where it's totally hands-free. And in a mission-critical, point, it could be a wink or a blink that activates something. But that's sort of not a frequent thing.
No, but I mean, I think winking at your computer, I think winking, a right click would be a winking your right eye, and a left click would be clicking your left eye, and that would be a conscious movement. So I would look and then wink. It wouldn't be accidental. It would be intentional.
Right.
There's really a way to accidentally do that. Oh, I didn't mean to wink. I'm not saying that you do it enough, you might develop a nervous twitch or some sort.
Well, you can do it in a game, because I mean, that back to what we were saying, is like any sort of natural gesture.
Yeah.
So if I'm in an environment and I may wink at somebody, then they know that I'm winking. The device knows that I'm winking.
It would bring a whole new meaning to the words fast twitch. Exactly.
So, and I'm sorry if you already answered this, but just to make it clear, do you guys sell the hardware, or is this like you guys main in the software part of eye tracking?
That's a great question, Ben. So as a company, we sell turnkey solutions, and those are, as I said, historically, we sell turnkey solutions into the assistive computer space. There's a whole, tablets and so forth in that space. And the same thing also in the research analysis space. We sell turnkey solutions. I'm with our OEM division, which means that we take those core technologies and we license them to others. And so our mission in life is that we are embedding those technologies into the devices from the name brands that we all know and love. We also sell developer kits.
Okay.
So if you go onto our website, we started out talking about the iX device. That's a dev kit. Anybody can go onto our website and buy that and start programming it.
Carl, we got to take a break
yeah.
here. We're at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We're talking to Tobii, Vice President of OEM Solutions. Carl Korobkin is with us. We're going to take a short break and continue on. We've got a news tips bulletin review, a brand new one coming up. We actually got two today. Tonight's show. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're listening to Computer America.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Ten Hut. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin review for Computer America. This time, the SureFlap microchip pet door. How great would a robot doggy doorman be so you'd never have to interrupt your work to let your pet in or out? We chased down SureFlap in the UK and found a solution even cooler than that. So cool that we had chips implanted in both the dog and the cat. The basics of the SureFlap aren't that different from the aboriginal swinging mud flap design. Well, we're lying. They're way cooler. A dual magnetic latch holds the hard door closed. Look up the video of raccoons being unable to enter. 4 C-cells keep it running for 6 months. Once you get it to recognize your pets, either through a microchip implant or an RFID collar tag, they're the only animals who can open it. The clock display up top isn't frivolous. You can set curfews. They're a good way, for example, to automatically keep your pets indoors at night. They're easy to install in almost any window or wall, but be selective. and port them to a controlled yard area. Bottom line, a SureFlap microchip pet door lets both you and your pets do what you need to do with no ado.
Very cool.
This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston. You may have noticed that was a brand new News Tip Bulletin Review from Marty Winston. We'll be hearing that one all week, as well as another one coming up in the second hour. 10 Hut, agreed. So, again, welcome back, and we have Carl here from Tobii, and we were just getting into the question about whether or not they sell hardware or software. And I guess, to kind of pick up where we left off, you guys at Tobii pretty much sell products that you sell to other products that people buy. So you're not like exactly selling to the direct end user, but think Oculus Rift, think Kinect, think like devices like those are going to be incorporating the technology that you actually create.
Yeah, that's correct. And so we mentioned the Sentry device from SteelSeries. So SteelSeries is our partner, and we're bringing that to market. So that's Tobii technology inside, and it's brought to consumers by SteelSeries.
All right.
So, let's continue on. So basically, we've been talking about the gaming applications, but also this Tobii iX, EYE, and then X. How is this different than what we've been talking about, or is this the same thing?
So the Tobii iX is the developer kit.
Okay.
That's the precursor for before developers get the Sentry device.
Uh-huh.
And we've launched our development community quite a while ago. And so if you go to developer.tobii.com, you'll see that developer zone. And so we have a very vibrant community of developers, game developers, and developers of other types who use the iX controller and our free SDK, and who are developing games and other content.
Yeah. Okay. So now, when would you say eye tracking capabilities will be available to the mass market consumers? Because obviously this is something very cool.
Right. So the SteelSeries Sentry device is the first one, and we'll have some announcements about that at CES, and so that's coming up pretty shortly. And then from there, we will be getting ourselves, the other peripherals coming out, and devices having this embedded in the not too distant future. No announcements to make tonight. But the Steel device is the first one that will be, quote-unquote, mass market.
Okay. And any idea what this is going to cost? Any idea in cost or pricing?
It's if you look at I can't quote a price, but I can tell you that gamers will find it to be extremely attractive from a price perspective. We mentioned the Kinect when that first came out, and sort of there's precedence in terms of what these devices cost.
So we're going to call it $7.99 or $79.99 and call it a day.
I didn't hear that. What was the number you quoted?
So we're going to call it $79.99 and we're going to call it a day.
Oh, yeah, I can't comment. No comment.
All right.
Okay, so beyond gaming, okay, what other applications do you see are there for eye tracking? You mentioned for physically challenged, obvious things like that, and you briefly touched on the medical profession. I mean, what other applications are there for this type of technology?
So one of the other core market segments for this is automotive.
Oh, yeah.
We've had automotive solutions. The technologies has been evolved for a while now, and so for a number of different applications. One is actually for safety. So eye tracking is really the best you could do in terms of driver drowsiness detection and distraction detection. Because basically, if your eyes are not open and you're not looking towards the road, then you're not paying attention,
Right,
or you're asleep,
or
or
you're
something in
asleep. Yeah,
between.
I was gonna say either that or you're falling asleep. I know
Right.
there are cruder things like now the little things you can put over your truck drivers that they wear it over their ear, and so if their head nods down, to a certain angle, it sets off a screeching alarm in their ear. I mean,
Right.
but
But think about it. It's like you're in the cockpit of an automobile or some vehicle, and you're looking out through a windshield. So think about that as a screen.
Mhm.
And so how do you interact more intelligently, natively with things like heads-up displays?
yes, I was
So
gonna say, yeah.
beyond the driver distraction, which is huge, because that's something that all of us can appreciate having. That's sort of there in the background, silently doing its thing, and making sure that the driver is alert and paying attention. And then the next layer above that is interactivity. So what's happening in the cockpit? So heads-up displays have been sort of around for a while, and there's sort of new generations of that coming out, much more affordable. But in terms of interactivity, now you get to a next level of immersion with those types of things, because you are, in fact, looking out the screen. And so you see demonstrations of these things, the early prototypes in automobiles. It's really, really super cool. The other aspect is actually in, the automobiles becoming, sort of an infotainment. I don't know if it's like another living room, but to a large extent, there's a lot going on in the automobile cockpit for interaction. If you look at a car like the Tesla,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a lot of buttons.
Mhm.
It's got a nice, gorgeous flat screen on the surface there, and so it's a great device. But now it's sort of a thing that's sort of lending itself to having new technologies and new modalities for interacting with things like that. That are in front of you or near your side. So automotive is another major segment for us, where eye tracking really provides quite a number of layers of capabilities and features for drivers.
Yeah, and it seems like this would lend itself naturally to something like that, because car controls. I mean, the information, the panels. We're seeing more and more of that going away from the typical dashboard and displaying more of that stuff on the windshield. Because that's where we're naturally looking. Every time you look down to check the speedometer, what are you doing? You're actually pulling your eyes away from the road. I mean, it's only momentary, but it's a form of distraction. So now, when you're looking straight out the window, and yet you can see you can see your speedometer, and all your other gauges at the same time. Certainly, you're less distracted, because as you know, even a half a second or 1 second can be serious, especially when you're moving in high speeds. And then the next thing is, how do we interact with those devices? Well, right now we're using controls on the steering wheel, little thumb switches and that type of thing. But obviously we can use our eyes. I would think that would be more conducive to a smoother driving experience, less distracted driving experience, or the distraction wouldn't really pull you away from what you're seeing on the road, I guess, bottom line.
Right, and it's sort of you're looking forward, and you're looking side to side, and you're looking at things in the cockpit. Whether you would do them, again, this is sort of back to the discussion, would you do that only with eye tracking, like would I blink or would I wink? Really, practically speaking, some of the other sensors are things that you mentioned, for instance, like a touch surface on a steering wheel. For me to actually say yes or no, or open, close, or next, and so forth, just a tap with a thumb or a forefinger. That's all you need, because you now actually have eye contact, and and the device knows that you want to act on it, and so then there's a simple way of acting on it, or it could be with voice. And so it's another means for, like, how do you bring in these other modalities to sort of, like, work hand in hand. And it's back to this thing that I had said earlier, is that having the capability of tracking the eyes and sort of devices to know, okay, you've done that basic thing, which is you've looked at it, you've identified the thing that you want to do, now you want to do something. And so that's the thing where it's really foundational. And then you put it into environments like an automobile cockpit, and it's very natural that you want to have something like this, because it sort of flows with what you are doing or what you're supposed to be doing.
What kind of reactions are you getting from people who see this? I mean, you've been out at CES, and what kind of responses are you getting when people try this? Is it like, what are you getting?
It's actually it's interesting. I love having people trying it for the first time because it's really it's they say wow. You get a really big wow, which is how did it know I was looking at that, or it's doing what I want it to do, or it's working with me. And so the first time people get it in front of it and they experience it, it's really very exciting. And then it's interesting because people say, well, what am I supposed to do? And then they are just doing it. And so the thing you notice people say was, well, wait a minute, this is just completely natural. It's not. It's sort of the reaction is, yeah, you're right. This is not like, okay, with gesture I have to learn, oh, do I do this? Do I move my hand this way? Do I move? It's just, again, it's just doing what you're doing. And so it's the thing with eye tracking is it's in some sense more passive, right? It's not like something you actively have to do. It's something that's working with you and passively, understanding where you're looking. And so people, the number one reaction is, wow, and this is just really natural. I get it. And people just within seconds know what to do.
And that's important because the learning curve is so small. I mean, it's really something almost that's intuitive. You don't have to break out the manual, which Ben would never do anyway. But
well, I mean, you try to introduce this technology, and if it has really any kind of learning curve that's steep, I feel like people are going to be so turned off by it because that safe, warm, cuddly little mouse that's right. Like they can always run back to that. So if you made it kind of not intuitive, it wouldn't work.
Absolutely. And it's interesting is sort of, again, you mentioned the Kinect, and then there are other technologies in the gesture space, and we believe that all of these technologies will continue to sort of find a place. But the thing about eye tracking is that, again, it's foundational. And the thing with something like gesture is, I don't know if you guys have tried, gesture systems, but every time you get into front of one of them, each of them has a different language. There is no, like, I'm supposed to do this with my hand. Is it like I move my hand and I open my fist and close it? Is that like open the screen? So there's nothing. It's like every, and it's like as it stands right now, each system is a learning curve. And so I think that is something that, sort of as technology gets adopted, what we'll see is, my expectation is that we'll see someone come in, whether it be one of the big players like Apple or Microsoft, will say, okay, well, this is kind of how it's done, and then sort of that's how it gets adopted. The thing with eye tracking is it's just look. I mean, it's that simple. It's like you just look at something, and in fact, we don't actually do anything other than what you're already doing today. It's just you're looking at it. And then in terms of the interface, the question is, what do you want to do about it? And what I mean by that is, if you look at something on the screen and let's say you want to open it, then there needs to be some command. And so it could be just like you tap your mouse or you tap your touch screen or something and the thing opens. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's really that simple.
Yeah. And although speech recognition seems to be kind of cool, in the actual workplace, I don't know how practical that actually is. It's sort of like when they say, "Oh, we have this new remote control for your TV, but it'll understand your spoken words," And Ben and I have had this argument back and forth time and time again. I'm saying, I'd just rather sit there and just click the remote up on, without having to go up, down, left, right, and speaking it, or channel 4. Just click it. I think it's more efficient than to have to speak it. There's certain things where voice recognition is practical, but some things where it's not, and.
Well, absolutely. I think it's sort of, some people just don't want to talk to their devices.
Yeah.
It's sort of, there are a range of people who say, I'm just not going to talk to my device, or and so forth. But one of the things about what I was getting at is that everything sort of has a language to it, and if you add eye tracking, so if you think of like eye tracking is like the noun, and then the other thing like voice is the verb. It's today, if you're going to operate a system completely by voice, it's like, okay, so I have to figure out a way for like that thing over there. I want to tell that thing something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I got to move a gesture. I have to do something. So there's a lot of work. And what I do with voice, well, then it's like too difficult to come up with a vocabulary,
Right.
too many words to speak. It gets complicated. But if it's down to with eye tracking, you're already looking at it and just say open and close. Then it's become very simple.
It is. It's a lot easier. Although for me, I would like to think of something else other than saying open and close. I'm opening and closing windows constantly, and so that would be, maybe in conjunction with the mouse. If I'm looking at it, we just have to find a way of opening and closing a window or doing something once the mouse is there. But
Always clap on, clap off.
Say again?
Always do clap on, clap off.
Yeah. Clap on, clap off. Yeah, the clapper. Yes, exactly.
Hey, combining technologies. This is what we're here for.
Exactly. So we got about 10 minutes left, or even shorter than that, Carl. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up next for Tobii. Any big announcements, events, product launches? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our next big event is CES, coming up in January, so coming up fast. And CES is probably our biggest event of the year, as it is for many. And we will be showing the SteelSeries device there. And we've got lots of new cool games and demos to show. So there's a lot of what's going to happen at that show is people are really going to see now, oh, wow, okay, so there's a device that's available for the consumer, and then starting to get a real feel for what you can do with it. So there's a lot of really cool games that we're going to be demonstrating. Can you
tell us some of the titles of the games? Are these games that we know, or are they going to be new games? What are we looking at here?
Sure. Well, I mentioned Son of Nor, which is already on Steam, on the Steam service, and that's I believe you can also go to our website, and there are videos on YouTube where you can go look up Son of Nor. And I think that's a glimpse of a game that's just absolutely super cool.
Why?
And people get in front of it. We had that we were showing an early version of that at Gamescom this year in Cologne, and people were getting in front of it. We couldn't pull them away from it because as they started to get immersed into the game, it's kind of like, okay, time's up. You gotta let someone else have a chance. So there's games like that. There's also like real kind of casual games. There's a game called Beat Shot, where there's sort of music in the background, and then you actually have to kind of look at these X's and zeros and these dots that kind of jump up on the screen. And so it's probably a little bit more of a sort of a physical eye test than some of these other things. But it's absolutely super cool, and people get in front of that as well, and they just can't leave it.
Let me ask you this: you brought up a couple of points here. I mean, can it ever be something where it's so eye intensive that it could, start hurting your eyes? I mean, if you get.
Well, maybe you could write a game where you did that deliberately, but I don't. I mean, the answer is, anything's possible. But just generally speaking, I mean, what you do day to day.
That's
to
fine.
Use your eyes
Sure.
and what you do, it's no different.
Sure.
But, I mean, there's, with anything, like I could be playing, I don't know how many levels of Halo or something to the point where it's kind of like, I'm kind of fried and I got to put it down.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand the motion sickness. There are things like that.
It's the 15th hour that gets me.
Yes.
What about the game that you mentioned? What was it? The title you mentioned?
Son of Norse.
Yes. Yeah, What is it? What was it about that game? What characteristic of the game that you felt was most conducive to lending itself to eye tracking? What was it about that?
You now have telepathic powers.
Oh, the telepathic. Okay.
Yeah, and you can actually now have telepathic powers and make things happen on the screen and in the environment that you couldn't before, because there was no way to relate what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking in my head to what's on that screen. Because if you think about it, there's been no device to date that allows you to do that. Now, of course, there are some sort of I should say, categorically speaking, people have tried other devices like the neuro bands and all that,
sure.
which is interesting because you can combine that with eye tracking, but that really is the point. And so the enemy is coming, and you've got this huge boulder, which you really physically can never really pick up. But now through staring at the boulder and really concentrating on it, and using your telepathic powers. Now what the developer has done is basically, it's like, okay, I'm looking at an object. How long am I looking at that object? Because we understand how long you looked at it, how much attention you've paid to it. So therefore that sort of like relates to your telepathic powers. But the other cool thing is that you don't need the mouse to go. You don't need a pointing device to go and throw the rock in a certain direction. You literally are looking, and you throw that object at your enemies left or right or up or down. And you couldn't do that before.
Right.
And then when people get into that game, they just go, wow, that is actually super, super cool.
Yeah.
And it really is a lot of fun. And that's the whole thing about gaming. It sort of brings an experience and a sense of immersion
that you couldn't have before.
You.
That you didn't have
exactly.
before. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like a feature like that. And I assume that's a special version of this game that incorporates that capability into it.
No, actually, so that game was developed from scratch for eye tracking.
Ah, okay.
And so what I was saying is sort of through our developer community. So we have thousands of these IX kits out there today. Out in the game community. We attend a lot of events, everything from grassroots like local meetups to hackathons to game events to even seeding university programs. So we have a lot of developers who are out hacking away today with the IX controller, developing new content. And you will see existing games sort of adding this eye tracking capability to it, but the real power comes into people sort of taking their creative juices and creating these new things like Son of Nor.
What about mobility, like in wheelchairs for handicapped, and being able to look in the direction that's the direction you're going to be traveling without, let's say they don't have the hand motion to control a joystick, a stick on it, and using their eyes to steer the wheelchair? Is that possible?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that. I would assume that it's possible, but it's out of my domain in terms of those products. What I do know, and clearly you can see on the web and others, is how you control the computer itself with eye tracking.
Right.
I don't know if you saw Microsoft's first ever commercial this year at the Super Bowl. They did this absolutely fabulous piece, and it's on YouTube, called "What is Technology?" That entire piece was narrated by Steve Gleason, who's a former NFL player who unfortunately was diagnosed with ALS, I believe, in 2011. Yeah. And he narrated that entire piece through a Tobii eye tracker that's mounted on his wheelchair. And if you do get a chance, I do encourage you to go see that, because it's just very rewarding and it's very uplifting. In this talk, we talked a lot about gaming and all that, but what we've done, through our history here as a company, is brought technology to market that's really solved big problems, and we're very proud of that. And once you see that, you realize, wow, this eye tracking technology is really fabulous.
What was it called?
How we take that and enrich people's lives in terms of gaming experiences and other things going forward. That's great.
What was that called again? What was the YouTube video called?
I believe it was called "What is Technology?" Okay. So it was Microsoft's Super Bowl commercial this year.
Okay, and I know they show those commercials in advance of the Super Bowl. I think that's what was going on there, right?
It was shown in advance, and I know that it's on YouTube, and there's access to it, and it's really fabulous. And it shows you, and what we've done as a company is we've actually taken the technology, and that tracker actually clips onto a Microsoft Surface device.
Okay.
And so we've taken to the point now where people who did not have access before, really giving them back their freedom.
Sure.
To be able to do what you and I do on these types of devices. It's really remarkable technology.
Well, Carl, I want to thank you for being with us here on tonight's show. Again, you can go see more of this at the website at the Tobii Tobii's website. But you just go to Tobii.com. But the best thing is just go to ComputerAmerica.com. Go to our show notes page, and we have the link to TOBII.com. You can see all about the eye experience and the Steel Sentry eye tracking system, and you can see all these things for yourself. Again, really interesting. And I know we're going to be at CES, and maybe we can get you to talk a little bit more about that while we're out there. Carl, thanks so much for being with us here tonight. Hope you had a nice time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it.
All right, Carl. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, there you go. So it's Tobii, Tobii. And again, you can see all this for yourself at our website at computeramerica.com, bringing a whole new dimension to gaming and those who are physically challenged. So let's see. We have news stories that are coming up. I assume you're going to be sending me. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they're sent.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We're going to do computer technology news brought to you by.
There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, they are good.
Apparently, all the tech stuff happened over the weekend. It's going to be a good hour. We have stuff like Sony Pictures. They make movies, as you may know, is being held ransom by ransomware. Their entire studio.
No.
So,
really?
Yeah. Screeching halt. So they're in a lot of trouble. And then there's like a brand new virus that's being put on your computer by all the by all the governments. There's one about the Twitter folk talk about the problems of maybe even running their very own Jurassic Park. Stories like that.
Very cool. All right.
Oh, and I don't know if you saw it, but we can talk about it next hour. But they showed the preview of the commercial for the new Jurassic Park.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll have to see that too. All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We've got computer technology news coming up in the second hour, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We've got another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston. Looking forward to that. We'll be right back just in a moment. You're listening to Computer America.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we just had Tobii on the program, the company making the eye experience, using your eyes to control what it is you see on your computer.
The wave of the future.
Yeah, really, wave of the future. Now, if you missed any of that, of course, you can listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to the top of the page, the website page, and you'll see archive. Just click on that, and you can see it there. Our Blog Talk Radio archives. We have the RSS feed that you can subscribe to. Also, Apple's iTunes. We have the link right to the proper place so you can see all of our shows. And not only that, you can listen to them, you can also watch them. We archive all of our videos right there at ComputerAmerica.com. So all that is available. Just go to our website, ComputerAmerica.com, and check it out for yourself. It's all there. Anyway, we have this is the second hour of the show of the new week. It's going to be a short week for us because of the Thanksgiving holiday, so it will be a short week. Only Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we're going to be on Thursday.
I know, so sad, so sad.
Yeah, well, hey, we have to take a little bit of a break, and that it's always nice to take a little holiday.
I know. These grueling 2-hour work days are really getting at me.
Yes, they are.
they really add up. Over the course of a week, of a 10-hour work week, it grinds on you. It starts wearing on you.
Exactly. Well, yes, you don't do. You just kind of waltz over to the mic and just do the 2 hours. So you don't know all the hard sweat and preparation that goes into making one of these.
No, of course I wouldn't. No.
Anyhow, and as I said, we're gonna have another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up. So, but I think anything else you want to mention? Otherwise, we're just gonna
try to joke for 2 seconds, and the man makes it serious. Sigh, folks, sigh. No, I guess it's not really news, although we were gonna have it in the news. But yeah, the new Jurassic Park like that was my exciting thing. I didn't go see a movie. I saw the preview of a movie. So like they didn't even release the full on 2-minute trailer, 1-minute trailer, whatever it's going to be for the new Jurassic Park, which it's called Jurassic Park. It's not Jurassic World. But yeah,
Is it a remake of the original Steven Spielberg movie?
It's a remake with modern technology and modern everything. Chris Pratt, who was the lead in Guardians of the Galaxy, is going to be playing Grant.
Why? I thought the original Jurassic Park, the technology used there was really good. I mean, it looked like.
You need to see the cheesy 30-second pre-trailer trailer of Jurassic Park. It looks amazing.
Really? Okay.
It does. I mean, I love the original one. The original one, I mean, between the effects used, like it wasn't all digital, there were a lot of robotics used. I mean, it nailed it.
Yeah, it did.
This one looks just as good.
Because I remember when I went to see Jurassic Park originally in the movie theater, when I went to see it, I mean, I felt like I was there. I mean, it didn't look fake in any. Remember, it was a Steven Spielberg production. He wasn't going to put out anything that looked fake, and it was so well done. I mean, I could not tell I couldn't tell that there was something that it looked artificial in any way, shape, or form.
And this is using technology like instead of like the Jeeps.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have like big spherical kind of looking smart car looking thing, but it's more like a clear sphere.
Yeah.
That you kind of hop into, so it's like a pod. So like they replaced some stuff that was typical 90s, but I mean as for the effects, like they showed one with like the dinosaurs kind of like running by one of the vehicles, and your brain actually thinks for a second, oh, they're just reusing footage from the first one. It looks so perfectly similar to the original.
Yeah.
But then they're adding more on top of it.
Okay. I mean, I'm wondering what the value added is. Is it going to be that much better?
Well, first of all, Jurassic Park came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, but they did it right.
So I know they did it right, but kids aren't going to the movie theaters to watch a 20-year-old movie. Well, if nothing else, is to get a new generation involved in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there was that.
Your generation already had it, so let the other generations have it too.
Well, okay. I mean, okay.
What are you saying? No, that's ours. You can't have that.
What I'm saying is that if you're not coming up with anything that is that's better than what the
it's new actors, new technology. What more different?
Well, I'm saying a lot of times they'll take a new they'll redo a reboot of a movie because the technology used back then, 15, 20, 30 years ago, when they made it, was not anywhere near as good, and that's certainly and they're going to do a better.
You need to have a chat with Spider-Man because that guy gets released every 2 years, and there's no new technology there.
But that's a different issue. But the point is, when you take something like Jurassic Park, where they did it right that time, why remake it if they did it right in the first place? That's something I don't quite understand. But hey.
It's because it can be redone, and it can be done, be redone well. Like back in like the mid '90s when it was released, I mean, they had giant breakers and they had giant, flip switches. Like now everything's run by computers.
Computers, okay.
As probably a Jurassic Park should be used.
Well, they used Linux, back then, and I don't know
back then.
Yeah, they used Linux to do it. I still think that is it giving that much more to the movie? Is it going to be that much better than the original because with using the technology and updating things like light switches?
It's not that it needs to be. It can be.
It can be.
It can be remade for a new audience, and again, new actors, new technology, new. I mean, we've learned a lot about dinosaurs since then. I mean, it's bringing Jurassic. I mean, you gotta admit, Jurassic Park probably is the sole reason that anyone is a paleontologist anymore. Like, that profession could have just died out if Jurassic Park didn't come out. We need more paleontologists, folks. That's why we're making Jurassic Park again.
Right. Well, there you go.
Anyways, if you haven't seen it, again, it's going to be played during the Super Bowl. I think it's somewhere around halftime, but they have a preview of the preview, and it looks amazing.
A lot of times they're releasing the commercials. They're not waiting for the Super Bowl. All those Super Bowl commercials, they're releasing, like a month in advance.
Well, this one's only like 15 seconds long, so.
Okay. And it's out of what? Is it a 30-second commercial or a 60-second commercial?
I think it's a 60-second.
Yeah. Well, that's big money. They charge. There's a lot of money for that.
It's a high budget movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're doing Super Bowl commercials, it must be. All right, I had something else to mention as well, and it was, I did update my iPhone on Friday. We had that update.
No one cared.
I'm just letting people know that so far it seems to be fine. You don't care.
What?
Okay, the 8.1.1 seems to be solid. Everything seems to be working fine, and I haven't noticed many differences. Remember, it was just it was 100th of a point, so it was just a small update, but nonetheless still an update. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. So at least as far as my day-to-day operation with the phone, so that's good. Firefox had an update too. Well, if you have your updates automatically set to automatically go, you don't have to worry about that. You don't use Firefox, you use Chrome anyway. But Chrome has an automatic update too, right? And you have yours turned on?
No, actually, I just had a thing set up. But yeah, updates really.
All right. Okay.
Let's do some important news, because there's important news and there's interesting news and there's a list and there is a list I want to go over as well.
All right. Well, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, everything at that website at slimwareutilities.com is completely free. You can see it says free, free, free. You look at each one, some cleaner, all the different ones, free, free, free. It's just free. They're not crippled in any way. They're not freemium based. We use all of them here at the Crossman household. Just go to slimwareutilities.com, download them all, install them all. You're going to be very happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. Why don't you lead the news stories?
All right. Okay, there's this one that a game will actually suck your blood when you lose, so we're going to save that one for a little bit later. This one, though, this one from CNET, and there were a lot of lists floating around. You should definitely go check them out if you're interested. But here is a quick list. This had 17 televisions in them, and again, CNET. They were Black Friday deals for televisions, and I know people usually wait for televisions to. Or they usually wait for Black Friday to purchase their televisions, or at least televisions are one of the biggest things that are sold on Black Friday. Mm-hmm. So this list was actually very comprehensive, and I thought, hey, I myself am also looking. If you're looking for a television, this is probably a very good list. So keep an ear out. So the first one is a 32-inch no-name television. And when I say no name, Amazon.com that sells it does not have a brand listed for who makes it.
It says no name right on the bezel
Yeah, well, no, it's literally no name. So it's a 32-inch LED TV for $79.
$79
for a 32-inch.
Oh, wow.
That is cheap. I know 32-inch isn't the biggest, and I know buying from a no-name brand isn't exactly ideal, but for $80, you're paying pretty much half of what a normal LED 32-inch costs. So that's a good deal. So the next one again is another 32-inch no-name LED, but this one comes from Walmart, and Walmart is selling theirs for $20 more expensive at $100. So, Amazon, $79, Walmart, $99.
Now, how good are these TVs? Are these smart TVs? Or are these dumb
No,
TVs?
they're probably just straight up LED TVs. They probably don't have much of a design flair going on about them. They aren't even Vizio. Like, Vizio is known for the lowest, not low quality, but lowest price, decent quality televisions. And this isn't even Vizio. This is below Vizio.
What is the resolution of this TV? Do we know what is it? 1020p?
You might have to go to Amazon or Walmart to actually find out the actual specifications. But actually, I found one here. 32-inch, 720p, so the lowest of the low of the HDs, and ultra slim, 60 hertz. So I mean, it's probably going to be the lowest acceptable standards for an LED HD TV, but at $79 and $99, you know, that's what you're getting. You're still getting an HD TV, barely.
Very nice. Very nice.
So it's very good. You know, Vizio kind of wins it with the 39 inch, and 39 inches is when you're starting to get, you know, hey, that TV is actually pretty big. Is selling one for $220
Wow.
at Target. And again, this isn't no name. This is Vizio. Vizio actually has a brand behind it. So you know,
I remember when Vizio was a no-name brand.
I know, but then they came out with those decently priced, actually good televisions.
I remember when I first saw Vizio, I went, well, I never heard of that, you know. But now Vizio is becoming a name brand, you know. They're doing amazing.
They've been a name brand in television for a couple of years now, so you know.
And they make good TVs. I mean, we have a couple of them. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So and the next one on the list, again, this one, all this from CNET, is a 40 inches Element TV. Never heard of Element, but okay. Is $120 from Target. 40 inches for $120.
Wow.
That's a good price.
Very good.
Yeah. So.
$120. 40 inches.
Yep.
That's insanity.
Yeah. That's and again, you know, the cheapest television on this list, the 32-inch was $80, and this is $120.
And
so for $40 more, you get 8 more inches.
And Element TV, that's a name. It's not a huge name, but I do recognize Element TV. You know.
You do, I don't. So they're probably somewhere in the middle. Yeah. And again, Amazon is matching Target in this one with a 40-inch television. Again, no name. We're sorry. Like, we think it's Spectre TV who's making these things, but they're kind of listing it here as no name. Mm-hmm. So 40-inch 1080p though, not 720, 1080p.
That was the one
40 inches at Amazon.
Was the one at Target at 1080p, or it doesn't?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So the next one, Lynch, 50 inches. This is some good TV. 50 inches at Best Buy for $200.
Wow, and it's a nice looking TV too.
Yeah, I know. It's a Panasonic TC50A400U. So good luck with that. But yeah, Panasonic, 50 inches, $200.
Wow.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Black Friday deal. 50-inch, another 50-inch. This one from Amazon. So, and again, anything from Amazon, you can order from your home. You don't have to go out to Walmart or Best Buy or wherever to go get these deals. It's just as long as Amazon has them in stock, you can buy them.
Now, do you have to pay for shipping though on all these cheap TVs?
Most Amazon, especially if you have Amazon Prime, which a lot of people who use Amazon do, they have Amazon Prime, which is free 2-day shipping. So Amazon, most of these are probably Amazon Prime, you know, eligible.
Very cool.
So
50 inches, $199. 50.
Yep. Now we have another 50-inch here. This one from Walmart and Best Buy. It's a Samsung, so it's higher quality, and it's $500.
Wow. Still.
Yeah. So you know, so whereas the other 50 inches that are $200 and so on, they're probably again a little bit on the lower spec. If you buy Samsung at 50 inches for $500, you know, you're probably getting an $900 television for $500. Like it's probably a really good clear television.
And it's a smart TV. It has a smart TV suite.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. And smart television is, of course, you know, one of the more desired traits. 55-inch Vizio smart TV. Again, another smart TV. So this one for $20 cheaper than the last one is a 55-inch instead of a 50-inch for $480.
Wow.
Apparently, Amazon's just having a lot of great deals. Best Buy had a few. Target, you know, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, Amazon right now are the 4 best contenders for a TV deal. So keep an eye out. You know, 55-inch Samsung from Walmart, another great one. You know, it's you know, great picture, great quality, all that kind of stuff that you expect from Samsung.
Yeah.
And then here we get to the 60 inches. 60 inches is what I consider the big TVs.
Right.
You know, the LG 60PB 5600 peanut butter, 60-inch for $500.
488. Actually, it's 488.
488. My bad. There's room there for tax.
Yeah, but I think it's a plasma screen, which is really interesting.
It's plasma is falling out of favor. It's kind of falling away to the cheaper LCD, LED technology, but plasma's still good.
Yeah. Wow.
So for $500, HH Greg this time though.
Wow.
HH Greg. So 60-inch. If you're looking for at least a 60-inch, that might be your best deal.
Mm-hmm.
We have another 60-inch from Sharp, $700 from Best Buy.
Wow.
And I'm guessing that pretty much most of these, $700 and up, they're going to be smart TVs.
They're all smart. Yeah, these are smart TVs.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So 65-inch Vizio, 65-inch. That's huge. Is $650 from Walmart, not from Amazon, from Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
For 65-inch, huge.
And it's a Vizio.
Yep. So and it's LED, that kind of thing. So 65-inch, 70-inch Sharp for $1,500. Here's where you start getting into the bigger money, which it's kind of. I'm sure if you're buying a 70-inch TV, $1,500 sounds like a steal, but it's still getting pricey.
I want
a
75-inch.
I know. So we're nearing the end of our list. 75 inches from Samsung. Again, great quality. $2,000 from Sam's Club.
Wow.
The offshoot of Walmart.
Wow.
And then, last but not least, actually that was the last but not least.
That was the last.
Anyways, so those were TV sizes ranging from 32 inches to 75 inches and everything in between. And kind of told you where to get them, where to look for them. This list again provided to you by CNET. It was the best one I found of the list because I didn't feel like compiling my own list because that would have actually involved work. If you're looking for a television, which I know many people are, that would this list would be a great place to start.
Yep, exactly. Very, very good. Thank you for that. That's a good review. Okay. All right. Well, this story here from Time magazine. We've been talking about drones and are they having deliveries and everything. Evan, here's a short article that their new drone rules may require commercial flyers to have licenses. Evan, according to the story, rules will require pilots to get licensed. The Federal Aviation Administration is set to restrict use of drones to within 400 feet of the ground and forbid flyers beyond the eyesight of the operator, according to a new report. Rules far less permissive than what companies like Amazon had hoped for. The Wall Street Journal, citing unnamed sources familiar with the highly anticipated ruling, reports that drone operators will be expected to obtain a pilot license, which traditionally requires hours of flight training. Good grief. The rules will allow drones to be used in filmmaking, construction, and farming, among other industries. That means that you take a creative guy who uses drone to show the West Palm Beach fireworks display on the 4th of July won't be able to do that anymore because he doesn't have a license.
I mean, right now, it's the Wild West. Anyone with a drone can go fly a drone.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but they produce some awesome videos with it.
I know it's cool, but it's kind of weird,
Yeah, well. I mean, is it that much difference that people have radio-controlled airplanes? You've seen model airplanes. They use radio controls to fly them.
Yeah, but they can only fly them in parks and things like that.
They don't need a license to fly a gas-powered, remote control airplane.
Pretty sure they have to fly them only in parks, though. Like they can't fly it over interstates and stuff like that.
Oh no, I don't know. And then and also gliders too. They have radio-controlled gliders. Can stay up forever, really. But you don't need a license for that either. There was one guy who was really proficient. He would used to go out at the beach, and I would watch him do it. He would just take his radio-controlled glider and he would toss it, and then he would fly the thing up the beach and back and forth and do loops, and it was completely silent because it was a glider, but he was able to manipulate it, and I just sat there and watched him do it. Yeah.
If you go to the beach and you're watching the creepy guy flying the glider,
no, it was.
You're missing the point of the beach.
No, it was. He went to the beach because that's where the wind. He got the best wind results, obviously. But it was really cool to watch him do that, and he didn't need a license for that. Nothing special required. I think they're going to license things out of existence. I'm not necessarily for this unless you can tell me why it's necessary to have a license for these things.
It's probably a knee-jerk reaction
Yeah.
to maybe one person accidentally flew it into someone's car windshield, but it's they definitely need to put some kind of regulation on it, like they do, radio controlled airplanes.
Radio controlled airplanes don't have a restriction. You don't need a license to a radio controlled airplane.
Sure they do.
You know. You have to look that up in Google. I bet you don't.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, that's it for the article there. They're pushing to get a license for your drone.
Okay. This next story. This one is a game. I teased a little bit earlier that actually draws your blood.
Yeah, I saw this. This looks very strange.
For donation, though.
Okay. All right.
So if you're harmed in game, you lose real blood. Crowdfunding site Kickstarter has put the kibosh on blood sports, an immersive gaming experience in which in-game damage results in the player losing real blood. On the surface, this sounds like a horrendously bad idea. Imagine if a hacker infected your system with malware to disengage any safety measures that make sure you don't lose too much blood or you become unconscious. However, this isn't technology meant for homes. The creators came up with the idea as a fun way of promoting blood donations.
Wow.
What they've done is take a pre-existing blood collection machine and integrate it into gaming. The bigger goal is to develop a refined multiplayer experience across the country for blood donation events. We are not a charity, and again, quote, we are not a charity and we are not a game manufacturer. We are simply creating the gaming hardware that will allow us to get gamers thinking about more important issues while still doing what they love. From there, we'll partner with the appropriate organizations in both the gaming and medical communities to bring it all to life. How it works is rather simple. Using just a pair of wires, they connect your gamepad controller with the blood collection machine via an Arduino board. Think Raspberry. But the other one. So when it rumbles, the blood collection machine draws blood from your arm into a bag. The Arduino board both keeps the signal going to the blood collection system and also keeps track of how much blood you've spilled so that you end up like a walker, so that you don't end up like a walker. The amount is allowed to draw is based on your age, weight, and any pre-existing medical conditions. The project was initially timed to release March 17th with the Battlefield Hardline launch, provided it reached its goal of $250,000, and it doesn't seem likely now that Kickstarter had pulled it.
I have to say, I mean, donating blood is tough enough as it is. I understand.
What?
No, I understand this, and I understand the creativity behind the people who would do something like this. I mean, this is very, very, very creative, and I applaud them for it. But however, donating blood is how should I say? It's not really supposed to be a frivolous thing. You make a conscientious decision to do it. They screen you. I mean, there's a screening process. It's quite involved to do it, and then.
Where are you going to donate blood?
I'm sorry. Say again.
Where are you going? Because it's not anything like for me. I literally hop on a bus that could be just rolling around anywhere. I hop on a bus and they have me sign one piece of paper and I donate blood. Like, what are you talking about?
I donate blood at the American Red Cross, and they do a screening. They want to see how much iron is in your blood. They do a whole screening, and of course you have to do this whole series of tests to make sure that you haven't been outside the country, and they've actually made it even more restrictive. Now I know that there are private organizations that have these blood mobiles around, and I'm not sure how. I'm very wary of those. My understanding is they actually sell the blood to the places like the Red Cross and then they do it for profit. You go to the American Red Cross, there's no profit involved, but they do screen them very, very carefully. And I donate blood, let's say maybe 2-3 times a year. And but the screening process has actually gotten more intensive, especially things like with Ebola and what have you. They're trying to make sure that you're not going to pass along any contagions.
You need one question to screen for Ebola. Have you been to Cambodia in 3 months?
Or Africa?
Yes? No? Okay.
Or how about Africa? Anyway, so
See, I like the idea so much, though. Like, I agree. It probably shouldn't be in every home you can go donate blood whenever you want. It shouldn't be like that. But I like the idea so much that it should be a charity event. Get the best gamers who are, of course, eligible to donate blood. Get the best gamers, connect them via the internet and have a knockdown, drag-out, 16-way battle, and see who can donate. See who, like, if you donate 2 pints of blood, you're out. And you have to go eat a donut. Like, you're out of the game. And then the last man standing is the Blood King or whatever. It would be such a great publicity thing to get people to donate blood.
But it's also dangerous. I mean, they have to monitor you after. You have to be very.
It's not dangerous. They're gamers. They're used to sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, you can't just get up and walk out. You have to eat some cookies and juice afterwards. They watch you. So it's. But I still applaud them on the creative.
Cookies and juice, how dangerous! My God.
I applaud them on the effort. It's just I don't know how realistic it is. Hey, we're up against a break. We've got some other stories like Yahoo Mail outage lingers into day 4 due to a severed undersea cable. A lot of people are out of mail because somebody severed the cable underseas. That story and more. We have other stories too, like Symantec discovering a super stealthy Regin spyware. Okay, that looks interesting. And also another story about this is a popular science. Next spring, you can walk under a glacier in Iceland. Well, that's kind of interesting stuff. You listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We continue to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. A news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up next. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Pay attention now. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Marley Liberate BT. The Marley Liberate BT is the best balanced, best detailed small speaker we've heard in a very long time. We've spent an extended amount of time listening to a variety of known performances with no failures anywhere in allowing us to hear every voice, every instrument, and every detail.
Wow.
The sound quality was nicely even across the acoustic spectrum with no artificially enhanced bottom thump or top hiss. That's an amazing accomplishment for a wedge housing just 4 1.5-inch drivers. That's all that's in there. Its lithium-ion battery is rated 8 hours of playtime. We also offer a nod to Marley for their use of recycled and reclaimed materials in its construction. Bottom line, the Marley Liberate Bluetooth speaker will spoil your ears. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. I just realized these Marty Winston News Tips Bulletin Reviews, they're only going to be played 3 times each.
That's right. We're going to lose him.
Oh, so sad.
But we do have something for him like this.
Tonight's broadcast of Computer America is being brought to you by commercials. Commercials, where commerce meets shills.
I get it. When you put the two together, they're homonyms, and then also the dual meaning of shill. I get you. I get you. That's clever, Marty. I like that. Oh, by the way, Craig, can you guess which conversation we were just having that this pertains to? Can I fly anywhere whenever I feel like it? And again, this depends on where you live, and visiting the website of your local, of your national governing body should tell you where and when you can fly in general. For instance, flying in public places is usually allowed, but in some areas might be prohibited because of local bylaws.
Uh-huh.
This is, of course, RC planes.
Yeah, radio control planes. Yeah, exactly.
It's not just whenever I want, whenever I feel like it. They have laws pertaining to it, and right now, drones do not fall under this.
What about the little tiny toy RC planes? You're saying you can't even fly those? You see them in the malls. They sell them little planes.
I mean, I don't think a police cop is gonna try to shoot it down, and they're gonna call a helicopter out. If you have a toy. But and I think the little ones that you see in the malls, those aren't meant for outdoor use because any errant gust is going to flip those things and they're going to crash to the ground. So those aren't even for outdoor use, anyways.
Okay.
It's
they're indoor use only.
Yeah. Well, they're meant to be indoor use. So
right.
For that. And also, even on the RC planes that you're thinking of, you're talking about the gentleman at the beach with the RC glider.
Yeah.
Apparently you need insurance for those things.
Really?
Yeah, you need liability insurance to fly them.
Even for the glider? Maybe
even for the glider. Even for the glider.
Wow.
Yep.
A glider's like a paper airplane with a remote control attached to it. I mean,
what if it distracts or what if it smacks someone's windshield and they crash their car and you need insurance for every possibility. So drones currently don't fall under RC plane and RC glider, statutes. That's why they're trying to do something, and they're trying to do something as knee-jerk as commercial flying license, which is kind of extreme because the amount of hours you have to put in fly time for one of those things is crazy, and not everyone can afford those. But they definitely need something than just letting everyone do what they want.
Oh, okay.
So it's not as simple as you were thinking, Craig. So in summary, Ben was right, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
Boo-boo.
Yeah, all right.
All right, Craig, your turn to do a story.
Okay. Well, I've always been a proponent of LED light bulbs. I think that they are going to be the lighting source of the future, not the CFLs, the compact fluorescents. They're sort of like an interim step, but I think LEDs really don't have any downside. They cost a fraction of the cost to run them. They last virtually forever. 20 years for one light bulb. As far as I'm concerned, that's a forever light bulb. I mean, and now that they're dimmable, which the earlier models weren't, so they're dimmable. They have different Kelvin ratings, so they can be bright white, or they can be like the softer tone of an incandescent lamp, which is 2500 Kelvin to 3200 Kelvin, so that has a soft, warm look to it. They have daylights. They just seem to be and the prices are coming down. The LED light bulbs today are beginning to look like the incandescent bulb. That was because the earlier bulbs, they had these fins coming out of them, and they looked like they were like really exotic looking. And but now I'm starting to see something that actually looks like a general light bulb, and that's what we're starting to see with this. Some of them are still fancier, but again, now according to this story, a bigger, brighter, better Philips Slim style LED bulb. And I'm looking at pictures of it. It looks again like a LED bulb, but it's flat. It's not, totally round, but you can put it in a lampshade. You can put it anywhere you want to. It looks. It's gotten CNET editors. It's given a 4-star rating. This bulb, which is saying something. And so, and it looks like it has 2 different powers. Anyway, this bulb, manufacturer suggested retail price is $12.97 for this bulb. So the price has come way down. It used to be $25, $35, $40 for a bulb, so they're now $12.97. The price is continuing to slide down. It is a 75-watt bulb, also very good. Okay. And the review, they say the bigger, brighter version of the Philips Slim style features the same strong heat management as the original, along with improved efficiency and dimming performance. That's very good. You can dim this bulb now. There's still some bad, though. He says you still find slight dim spots to the sides of the bulb. Also, you can do a lot better than the Slim Style's 3-year warranty without paying very much more. Okay. This only has a 3-year warranty. But the bottom line here is the Philips new Slim Style is a strong performer that offers a good deal of value in the 75-watt replacement class. So it's the same size as the bulb, but it's flatter. It's not. I mean, if you look at it straight on, it looks like the shape of a light bulb. But if you turn it to the side, it's flat. It's not round all the way around. But I'm seeing bulbs start to come out that look like that too.
Yep.
That look like that. But of course, it really isn't important what the light bulb looks like. Obviously, you're going to put it in a lamp. You're not really going to see it.
It's the light that it gives off is important.
Yeah, the light that gives off is important. You're absolutely correct. And the fact that these bulbs are dimmable, 75 watts, and again, $12.97. That's a big improvement. So, I think maybe within the next year or so, year and a half, we're going to start seeing 100-watt bulb. Well, they have 100-watt now, but 100-watt LED bulbs available that are dimmable. Selling for about $10 a bulb. And I think at that point it makes sense to get, because then you
see. But what about 2 years from now?
The prices will even be less, and they'll get the electronics down such where it's really, really small.
5 years from now.
Oh. Then it'll be exactly what you pay for an incandescent bulb.
10 years, 20 years. It's this technology. It's not about, right now we're thinking, okay, when is it viable? But in 20 years, it's just, light's going to be extremely cheap, and
it will. Yeah, it'll be extremely cheap. You'll pick it up at any grocery store. You'll buy them. You won't have to go to a Home Depot or Lowe's or something to get them. You'll get them in regular. Wherever you buy light bulbs, on a day-to-day basis, they'll be available. They'll be affordable. You'll buy a 2-3 pack, and that's it.
Imagine cities where everything's lit up just because they can.
Yeah, well, that's true too, and the cost is coming down. They're making them much more efficient. But I truly believe that LED lighting is the lighting of the future.
You sure? Because I was hoping neon tubes would be.
No, neon tubes have had their day. Didn't do it.
I wish they'd stick around longer. Okay, there's actually 3 stories here, Craig. I'm going to let you pick which one, and then I'm going to completely ignore your pick. Okay, the 3 stories I want to go over are, the first one is from Intel and how they promise a 10 terabyte plus solid-state drive.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Or Sony Pictures and how hacks against their computer system has taken them down studio-wide.
I sort of want to hear that.
Or scientists urge governments to turn old TV frequencies into free super Wi-Fi.
That'd be interesting too, but let's go for the Intel one. I like to hear the Intel one.
Scientists urge governments to turn into super Wi-Fi. Good choice, Craig. I love it. Okay, so as you may or may not know, the government is, they allocate bandwidth.
Yes.
Radio frequency to different uses, and there was a huge chunk in there for television. Television had this frequency, so that so many channels could be broadcast to your home. And now that everything's digital, that's no longer necessary.
Yep, they're gone. They're free. They're open.
So instead of keeping it all holed up, the government decided to auction it off to the highest bidder.
Wow.
And the highest bidder could be companies who want to have their own standard of Wi-Fi, to government agencies, to the army, to development companies, to whoever wanted to pay the money could have their own slice of frequency. So here's where a group of scientists are trying to urge governments from across the world to use that instead of auctioning it off to the highest bidder and, of course, raking in the money. They're hoping they kind of develop it into something that would benefit people in the long term. So, instead of auctioning it off to usually the mobile phone networks, they should instead be using the frequencies to create free-to-use, wide-range Wi-Fi, says the scientist at KIT in Germany. And this new quote-unquote super Wi-Fi would have a far wider range than existing Wi-Fi networks, which are mostly transmitted over wireless local area networks at a frequency of 2 gigahertz or above. Wi-Fi transmitted over old TV frequencies could be transmitted at lower frequencies than traditional Wi-Fi, resulting in a far wider area covered.
Uh-huh.
This super Wi-Fi's coverage area could be as big as several kilometers in radius, a massive improvement over existing networks.
Mhm.
Several kilometers would be a couple miles,
Yes.
which would be great for cities.
I think so. It would be.
So yeah, this would mean that the pricey mobile services such as 4G were no longer required, which the scientists believe would lead to more mobile internet use and a wealth of economic benefits.
What? Now, is that something? Remember that we talked about those phone booths in New York City. They're going to offer free Wi-Fi, and then they're going to be gigabit range and everything. Do you think those would take advantage of these frequencies here, or is that something?
No, like even those booths that we talked about, those were extremely local. Like you couldn't be in, a couple miles away and connect to whichever one you want. Those would be, within a couple hundred feet.
Okay. All right.
Of the node. This would be over a couple miles.
Wow.
So, and of course, it's using a. Oops, did it? It did. Yeah. Okay. It's using a different frequency.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like one or the other. You can have both. You can have the super speed of the 10 gigabyte Wi-Fi, and still have access to this multi-mile longer range Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So so implementation of our approach would have far-reaching consequences. Says the scientist at KIT. Individuals, institutions, and companies would be far less dependent on expensive mobile communication networks in conducting their digital communication. You can just hear the scientist who said that. Mm-hmm. This would also be of great economic benefit. It could provide direct benefits during disaster scenarios as a means of providing updates and enabling communication. Many have argued that these frequencies are common property and therefore should be available to the public free of charge. Mm-hmm. And a view that has been opposition for a number of people, including the late Nobel Prize winning economist. There we go. Yeah. So to just kind of put it in a nutshell, is that instead of auctioning it off and piecemealing it out to usually mobile carriers, usually to companies and what have you that wanted to buy it, these scientists feel like if the world kind of put that bandwidth aside for a long-range Wi-Fi, mm-hmm. if it was used for nothing other than say providing information during a crisis, or providing internet access instead of 4G, you can just log onto this, and therefore you wouldn't have to pay those outrageous data fees, things like that. It's completely possible, but instead, like they're going to go to the UN World Radio Communications Conference next year to pitch this idea, but at the moment they're going with the capitalist idea of selling it to the highest bidder when they perfectly could. Like this is one of those, Miss America questions. What would you do to help improve the world? I would turn every, television signal into a Wi-Fi signal. Like, yes, this is high ideal kind of thinking, but it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think so too. Have you ever? Do you have a television set from the where we can actually turn to channel 2, 3, 4, 5 and see if it works? No, it doesn't work anymore. You just get white noise. Yeah.
Yep. So it's turning that into a Wi-Fi network. It sounds like a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it is. It's just you just know that governments wouldn't go for it, companies wouldn't go for it. Anyone who would put up the infrastructure to deal with this, they wouldn't do it. Like you could maybe see it in like Germany, Norway, other governments that actually invest in infrastructure new like this. But at least in America, I don't see this happening. It's a good idea. It's a great idea. I love the idea. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's the almighty dollar.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Because it would be so great to have a super Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi that anyone can connect to, wouldn't be slow, wouldn't be anything, and everyone can connect to it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen.
No.
It hurts.
Yeah, not going to happen. No. Well.
All right. Well, we have time. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I want to do this Intel story.
All right. Do the Intel.
Because it's big news. I mean, Intel is promising. Well, solid state drives have been around now for some time. You have how big is yours? You have a 60 gig.
64.
64 gigabyte hard drive. And now we're talking about you can get.
Now 64 64 isn't even being sold anymore. Like the smallest one you should be able to get is like 128.
28, right. They're slower to, I mean, the solid state, regular magnetic drives, you get 1, 2, 4 terabytes now for under $100. It's amazing. But the solid state drives have been slower to come out in higher capacities, and the higher capacity ones are still quite expensive. So it caused me to sit up and take notice with this story from Kit Guru that Intel is promising a 10 terabyte plus, that's over 10 terabytes, solid-state drives thanks to what they're calling 3D vertical NAND flash memory. Okay, this story just came out. It says at present, solid-state drives with extreme capacities are very expensive, and even the best of them cannot match high-capacity hard disk drives for nearline storage applications. However, thanks to the evolution of NAND flash memory in general and 3D vertical NAND in particular, the situation may change soon, and solid-state drives with 10 terabytes or higher capacities will become a reality. Wow. Intel revealed that in the second half of 2015, its joint venture with Micron Technology, Micron's been on the show many times, they make their own memory chips. Intel, Micron Flash Technologies will start mass production of 3D vertical NAND flash memory chips with up to 250 gigabits. That's a multi-level cell, 2-bit per cell, or 384 gigabit capacity. The 3D VNAND flash memory chips will feature 32-layer vertically stacked cell arrays that are interconnected using 4 billion through silicon via TSVs. The upcoming 3D NAND chips from Intel and Micron will enable solid-state drives with capacities simply not possible today. According to the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Intel's Non-Volatile Memory Group, the 3D NAND will enable 10 terabyte and larger solid-state storage solutions in the next 2 years. In a bid to build 4 terabyte Optimus Max solid-state drives early this year, SanDisk had to use 64 extremely expensive 64 gigabyte and 512 gigabit flash memory packages that rely on planar NAND flash and are made using the thin process technologies. By contrast, Intel's flash memory chips can hold up to 32 gigs of data and will be made using a mature process technology. And Intel is not disclosing which one at the time, and will have a breakthrough cost. As a result, multi-terabyte solid-state drives will not only become a reality, but will not cost several thousands of pounds of dollars per unit. Okay. They actually showed a prototype solid-state drive based on the 32-layer technology. At present, Samsung Electronics produces 128 gigabit, 24-layer, and 32-layer memory chips. Okay. Intel's 3D NAND memory project seems to be far more ambitious than Samsung's. While Intel's upcoming 3D NAND chips could feature the cheapest cost per bit in the industry, its effect on the market of NAND flash-based storage may be limited. So it goes on and says, although Intel's 3D NAND may not necessarily revolutionize the market of NAND flash storage in general, it still represents a great opportunity for the company to boost its revenue and SSD market share. Okay, so there it is. Probably, what they said, next year, we're going to see these 10 terabyte solid-state drives and affordable versions of that too. Talk about booting up your computer really, really fast.
Well, that's what solid states do, and right now the only thing that traditional hard drives had over solid state drives were, of course, space. So
yeah. Of course, I guess the cost of magnetic drives will continue to drop.
Just as well, but I mean, like the magnetic drives, you're seeing those in servers.
Yeah.
Like these huge server farms, they aren't running crazy amounts of tiny little SSD drives. They're running either tape drives from way back when, or they're running just your traditional hard drive. Mm-hmm. The more that that goes down, like the cost goes down and the space available goes up.
Yep.
So that's why you're seeing some companies that actually offer unlimited storage. Like Microsoft is now offering unlimited storage of any Microsoft documents on Dropbox.
Yeah.
They can actually do that now because it's so cheap. Back 6-7 years ago, it used to cost a lot of money for them to store data. That's why you had these crazy data caps and data throttling and things like that. The more that you see, that people can store more data for cheaper, eventually we're going to get to a point where everyone just says, okay, it's free. It comes with a service, so don't even worry about the data. And that's the dream. The dream is that we don't have to worry about data caps. We don't have to worry about this or that. It's data. We have the space for it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And this is what's in the near future. IBM is working on some other things too in the far future that's going to put all this to shame too. I mean, I think storage capacity.
Quantum computers?
Yeah. No, not quantum. I mean, there are other storage there's storage technologies that are around the corner. That basically, I don't think storage is going to be a problem anymore. Not that it is really now at this point, but it's really going to be inconsequential.
It's not really a problem. It's just they're making people pay a premium for it.
Yeah, and that will go away. Jonathan in the chat room says he has a friend who had Linux installed on an SSD. And it would boot to full operational less than 6 seconds.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, you get to that point, and you don't have to worry about standby mode anymore. You don't have to worry about this or that. I mean, that's just turn off my computer, turn on my computer whenever I want, because it takes 6 seconds. It doesn't take a minute 30.
Nope. Yeah. Although magnetic drives are not going away, and a lot of people think, oh, they're going to go away. I don't think they're going to go away for a while, at least not in the immediate future.
I think they're going to go away in the consumer space.
Yeah, when they get the cost of them.
Solid states are going to, like, maybe if you had one connected to your TiVo, if you have one connected to your network attached storage device, if you have one connected to one of those, HDDs, your hard drives, they're going to stick around. But in computers, as soon as you get reliable SSDs that are over 1 terabyte and can fit in a computer,
yeah,
I mean that's game over for hard drives in computers.
Well, look at me. I mean, I've got a total of 2, 3, 4. I think I've got 6 terabytes between the one that's built in and my externals. So I can get a single 6 or even a 10 terabyte drive, for whatever that's going to be, maybe a couple $100. Obviously, then the magnetic drive is really going to go, because obviously the solid state drives are so much faster, and they drop less heat, and it's going to make a big difference. So I think
from the consumer space.
Yeah, out of the consumer.
But in the corporate space, where you have server farms and you need to store the data of millions of people,
then
that's when HDDs and tape drives are still viable.
I think the tape drives are going to go away, and I think it'll be just replaced.
I don't know. Tape drives, tape drives are vastly, larger in storage space than current hard drives. Like, if you need to store a lot of data, tape drives take the cake.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to store it, but you don't need to access it right away, tape drives are number one.
I have one of our chat room who uses a terabyte. And I have to say that with all the hard drive space that I have, the terabytes of actual storage that I'm using, I probably don't use more than 1 terabyte of all the drives that I have. Mostly it's for backup and backups of backups. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, I have like a terabyte and a half, and I'm conscious about what I, of what I, keep.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have to worry about space, yeah, I could probably fill up 3 or 4 terabytes.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, we're pretty much out of time. I want to thank our guest again, Mr. Carl Korobkin from Tobii. It was a very interesting interview, and thank him for being here with us on the show. And again, you can listen to the archive if you missed it. Tomorrow night, we're going to have ProSoft Engineering on the show. ProSoft
90 seconds.
is in the business of helping consumers recover their hard drives. We're speaking about hard drives. They have a product called Data Rescue 4, which works on a Windows machine, Mac computers, and before you send your hard drive off, for expensive data recovery, you might want to try this product. Greg Brewer, who is the president and CEO of ProSoft Engineering, is going to be on the first hour of the show. Looking forward to that. And of course,
60 seconds.
in hour 2, we'll continue to do computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, and they are the official optimization software of Computer America. So have a great evening on this short Thanksgiving week. And, Ben and I will see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure.
You got school tomorrow, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, they don't give you Thanksgiving off for school, do you?
They do indeed.
Oh, they do? Oh, you don't have school on Thursday? No. Okay.
Weirdo.
Anyway, thank you all so much for being with us here, and we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow night's show. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone. Oh.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Well, okay. Thanks so much for everybody for being here, and we will see you on tomorrow night's show, again with ProSoft Engineering, and hopefully you enjoyed the program, and we'll see you tomorrow night. So, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
All right.